In this age of reality television, we are familiar with all of the contests that start with many, many contestants and end up with one winner. From America's Got Talent to Survivor, from The Amazing Race to Top Chef, there can be just one winner. There's no such thing as a tie in this environment, or at least I'm not familiar with it. And that makes sense. When you get down to the really important contests, there really can be only one winner of the Stanley Cup. It's looking promising for Toronto, but it's going to be either the Raptors or the Warriors who will win, not both. Occasionally, however, a circumstance arises that challenges our assumptions about the inevitability of only one winner. So there's a new reality TV show on now. Well, there's always a new reality show on, but this one's called Songland. And each week, several unknown songwriters present a composition to a major recording star and several producers. And they narrow it down to 3 finalists, and finally the recording artist chooses one of the songs to make famous, to release it as a single of their own. And so in the most recent episode, the recording artist was will.i.am, who's from the musical group the Black Eyed Peas. And when it came time to choose the winner, he didn't. Well, okay, technically he did, except that he chose all 3 finalists, not just one, to be on his next album. And a 4th one, there were only 4, and the 4th one didn't get chosen because he thought the young artist would be more successful and supported if they recorded it themselves, and then will.i.am actually said, and I could be featured on your song. So in a very real way, he turned the show upside down, and they all won. And it occurred to me that I liked that ending better than all the ones where there's just one winner. And no doubt, some will argue that the reward is cheapened for the winner when more than one get the prize. But I don't think so. More than one can be chosen. And I'm not talking about the kind of participation awards you get for just showing up, but truly being chosen for what you offer. When all deserve to win for what they bring, and then they do. I think we like that. Think about the cinematic phenomenon, the Avengers. The idea of a superhero is that there is one chosen who can save the world. But the concept that has been breaking box office records over and over and over again, 22 films now, movie after movie, is about a group of superheroes who are chosen to work together. In fact, it would seem that we actually like Captain Marvel or Black Panther or Iron Man more when they're part of a super team working as one. Is there conflict? Are there issues between them? Well, absolutely. But the audience is drawn into this vision where power is multiplied when it is shared among more than one hero. The concept is actually not uncommon. It reminds me of one of my favorite television shows, which is called The Librarians. Started as a movie and then became television and is not being made anymore. You can comfort me about that later. But initially, there is one librarian who is a different kind of hero, an insecure but brilliant guy who thinks he's taking a safe job as a librarian. And then he gets taken on this ride into a world where there is mysterious and powerful ancient wisdom and artifacts. And then the television series starts where they're looking for a replacement for this librarian. But instead of choosing one, the library chooses a team of 4 ordinary people with extraordinary talents who discover that they together can work for this library. And so they travel the world investigating strange things and battling ancient conspiracies and protecting the innocent from those who would use magic for harm. The details, of course, are all fiction and fantasy. but the deeper concept speaks to a truth we understand. We all know that more can do together than one alone, even a great one alone. Every time somebody helps me with a chore, like painting a room or planting a flower bed, I'm stunned by how much quicker it goes. Until I also remember, oh yeah, there's 100% more time and energy going into that project than when I do it by myself. A couple of weeks ago, there was a newspaper column written by a sociologist from Nova Scotia named Michael Unger. It was called "Put Down the Self-Help Books, Resilience is Not a DIY Endeavor." His contention, backed by significant research, is that we cannot all simply pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, as many of us have been taught. Rather, that, and I'm quoting here, we've been giving people the wrong message. Resilience is not a do-it-yourself endeavor. So self-help fails because the stresses that put our lives in jeopardy in the first place remain in the world around us even after we've taken the cures. The fact is that people who can find the resources they require for success in their environments are far more likely to succeed than individuals with positive thoughts and the latest power poses. What kind of resources? The kind that get you through the inevitable crises that life throws our way. A bank of sick days, some savings or an extended family who can take you in, neighbors or a congregation willing to bring over a casserole, shovel your driveway, or help care for your children while you're doing whatever you need to do to get through the moment. Communities with police and social workers and home care workers and fire departments and ambulances and food banks. Employment insurance, pension plans, or financial advisors to help you through the layoff. As we know from our regular lives, it's not just raising children that takes a village. Well, this is not new wisdom at all. Indeed, it is the lesson that Jesus tried to teach his disciples as he took his leave from them and passed his ministry on to them. And then, in dramatic fashion, we see it enacted in the story of Pentecost. Jesus, carrying God's Spirit in the world, is no longer physically present with them to do so. So who will be chosen to take over the task? Not one of them, but all of them. Every disciple receives the gift of the Spirit to share with the world, to meet the world in countless expressions and different languages and different cultures and different traditions. But everyone is chosen. For the church today, I think that means that each one of us is chosen too. Chosen for our individual and specific gifts and skills to be part of God's team. And Pentecost is a time to remind ourselves of that. You are chosen by God. Which you? You know. You are chosen by God to share God's love and light and spirit. And it seems to me that there are a couple of implications of that. The first implication is that you can probably do more than you think you can. If the Spirit is moving and you're afraid to follow because you feel inadequate to the calling, try taking a step in that direction. Because the Spirit is with you. It's worth a try. And if it's the work of God, it's even worth trying and failing. Because we know what God can do with failure. The second implication is that you are not required to do it all or alone. Responsibility for God's work in the world is not only on your shoulders or my shoulders, because God's activity is never a do-it-yourself project. When you move in the Spirit and with the Spirit, whatever you have to offer is enough, and God can work with it. So happy Pentecost, good church. May you and you and you and you feel supported and surrounded by the power of God, chosen to share God's love in the world. Do you feel it moving?